It's December 16th, 2025. I am at Joel Pearl, thejoelpearl.com on Blue Sky, and it's time to get in the weeds. A T-word Tuesday because I don't work the T-words, but I've got SP3 here to clean up my plate when it comes to these things. The new background, the Frozen is back. The Mickey is back. Everyone, the pals are back. How you doing?
Yes. When you're forced to film in your kids' room.
At least you're not like on their bed, just like waiting around, you know?
Yeah, I mean it's more spacious than the attic that I was using the last time I was here. But yes, I am back in the UK, away from the Americas, which it's always a good positive news for everyone. But yes, I am back in the UK. It is a Tuesday. Joel is here. I know. Just like the rest of you. But no, Joel is awesome. Joel's one of my favorite people. We actually are starting late because we spent time talking about Jewish wrestlers because we are we're both very akin on Jewish wrestlers. I don't know about y'all, but I think we are if there's gonna be like a Jewish podcast about Jewish wrestlers, these two guys, because he is actually Jewish, and I grew up in New York, which makes me like around Jewish people all the time. So I think it balances out. A lot of my jobs, Jewish people were my bosses. Like I used to work for Cutco Cutlery. I was selling that. I became an assistant manager. Huh? It's not a scam. I know everybody has the rep and it says, oh, it's a scam and stuff like that. It's actually not a scam. I became assistant manager. I sold 16,000 worth of Cutco Cutlery. And I freaking got stitches in my finger because I cut my finger one time, but I sold it to all my family, sold it to most of Harlem and the Bronx, and I became assistant manager in Sheepset Bay back when I was only like 18 years old. That's how good I am as a seller. I'm up there with Sami Zayn, Shawn Michaels, and the rest of the sellers that we're usually going to talk about on this show. But I am a salesman at the end of the day, and I know Jewish people because my boss's was Rachel Gluck. You know by the last name, that's definitely a Jewish woman.
Just out here doxing people for the sake of doxing people. I get it.
Hey, it's not actual doxing unless I give you like a location. Like I just gave you a location of where my assistant manager gig was. That's not where she lives. So
fair. Okay.
Doxing.
I'm sure if I play Jewish geography with enough people, I'll come to this person and I will dox her.
He's like the Gluck family. Where's the Gluck family in New York?
You know what the problem is? This is the problem. I went when you said that to the back of my head because it's Jews. I was like, my Rolodex started going, and I was like, do I know this family? This is what we do. This is what happens in the Jewish mind. Someone says a Jewish name. There's so few of us in the world that we're like, do we know them? What's the connection? How do we know them? Do they like bagels? That's what we do.
How do they like their bagels? Do they get poppy seeds, raisins? What do they do?
That's how we found out that Braun Strowman was Jewish, because he was on like some bagel and schmear podcast, and someone's like, how do you take your bagel? And he was just like, oh, I'm really classic. I like it this way. Found it. I guess it makes sense. It calls to me because I'm a German Jew. Found out that I have my roots. I was like, you what? We're just glossing over this part? And eventually, like, they got back to it, but he just reiterates like, yeah, I guess it's in my blood. I was like, what?
How did that happen?
I guess Adam Scher. I guess kind of you can get there. Maybe with Sherman or whatever. I was just taken aback when that came across my desk. So there were other names on this list that we're working on. I'm just like, ain't in our way. This is not true. And I'm currently getting confirmation that yes, I mean, I know that the people I work with do their work. This isn't a Fightful thing, by the way. This is a different collective. And going back to the Jews and wrestling thing. And they do their due diligence. And so I'm getting confirmation on names that I've never expected to hear. But more on that coming, I think, later this week. Because it's kind of
how many people have you met with the last name Sherman?
Sherman? Oh, plenty. There was
I've only met one person. It was in high school. Went to St. John's University. His last name was Sherman. We just called him Shermanator because that was the first person that we ever thought of when we saw him.
Was that American Pie or was that
American Pie? Yeah, it's American Pie.
There was a family here in Toronto, the Shermans, who were like pharmaceutical royalty. And it's a big mystery because they were also very big philanthropists, and they were murdered years ago. It was an older couple, Bunny and Harry Sherman. Anyway, the Shermans, they were very well known. And so, like, I know them, and I had known them in the past from my work in Jewish communal service. So, like, I had come across them in the family, and so when that happened, I was like, "Holy shit!" But yes, the name is fairly common, at least in Toronto.
Okay. Yeah, I've only met one in my life. He's still the Shermanator to me. So shout outs to the Shermanator. I know he's not watching, but shout outs to him.
What if he is though?
Well, you got shouted out. Yo, I've been shouting out people from my like past. I did like top 10 John Cena moments video on True Hill Heat, where like the number one, I gave my story, my experience of the moment. And like I was over at my mom's place and he came over to watch the show, and I just went ballistic for the Cena moment and stuff like that. And I told him, because he hit me up, he's one of the casual fans that hit me up. Like, he doesn't watch nowadays. He hasn't watched probably since we were friends back in high school. And like, I was still friends with him when I went to college as well. But like, he hit me up, and he immediately questions me the day after. So he's like, how do you feel about how they did your boy? He was like, I just think they should have paid more respect to him. Shame on Triple H. When casual fans are not blaming Cena or the wrestlers in the ring, they even know that it's Triple H's fault. I'm sorry. Like, this is the point I was trying to make on social media. I don't understand why people are so confused on why fans are upset at Triple H. Like, I understand if your point is, oh, they should have waited. They should have gave Cena his moment. That's fair. I feel like that's fair. That's a human emotion. If you are a big fan of John Cena and you want him to have this final match moment, that is all fine and dandy. But literally, the how we got here is why Triple H got that response. Like, it has nothing really to do with just the moment, just the result. Because if that was the case, then the result would have got more boos than Triple H. It wasn't that. Triple H got more boos than the result. So it has to do with the entire retirement tour overall. Now, do I believe the retirement tour is worthy of an F, like our friends at Bleacher Report gave it? I think that's a little extreme, but a D plus. I think that's more fair. A D plus, C minus, that type of student. That's what the retirement tour really was, because there was moments that you can prop up. But I heard people like going in on Bleacher Report be like, oh my God, that's disgusting. The retirement tour was at least a B minus. I was like, in what world, what school, what education did you get to give that a B?
What's always interesting to me is when people start to lump in one subjective opinion with the views of an entire organization or an entire news brand. And this happens to you too, SP3, right? Where you're writing with SI, you know, people take something that you say or that someone else who runs with the brand, and they write an opinion piece or a subjective piece based on what they see, what they like, what they feel. And then afterwards, there are people who get very upset over it for nothing. And then they apply that feeling towards the entirety of the brand. It's ESPN. It happens the same thing. Andreas Hale after WrestlePalooza gave the show a C minus, and people, or C, whatever it was, it was a not great. And people thought, oh, ESPN's unhappy with the deal. No, Andreas Hale was unhappy with the event. Andreas Hale, who writes for the publication ESPN, was very dissatisfied with the event. That's all. And it's the same thing at Fightful, right? People used to take Alex Pulowski's opinions and apply that to how Sean or Jeremy or whoever would feel who was on the site at the time, until we were finally like, all right, this is clearly you guys are taking this one person's opinion and applying it to everybody here, and that doesn't work. Bleacher Report, same thing. I actually went to go check who it was, and I pulled it up this morning, and I then closed the window like an idiot. But like, it's no one that you've heard in our spaces. No offense to the person who's writing. They're just not someone, from what I remember, and I'll pull it up again. It wasn't someone who's like traditionally on the podcast in the circles that we run in. And that just, it doesn't bug me, man. It's a subjective opinion. If you liked the way that John Cena's retirement run went and you see it differently than others, great. You enjoyed it. You had a great time. Yeah. If you didn't, and there are a lot of people who are in that boat, then guess what? You didn't. No one's going to take that away from you. And no one should.
I just think if you look at it from a subjective standpoint, I don't think, like I see in the chat, I'm not going to mention his name because I already ragged on him enough. I think I've met my quota for 2025, but he said the F grade was absurd to me. I don't think it's absurd. I don't think it's crazy to give it an F, because you have to think about like where the writer was coming from. And what I believe when I saw the grade, even before I read the article, it was basically an execution versus expectations. If you expect one of the best things about wrestling, and then the execution is not, and it's actually closer to being one of the worst things about wrestling this year, then I understand if you gave it an F. That's a curve. That's giving it a curve, because the expectations was this was going to be an A, at the very least an A minus B plus. And the fact of the matter is, it does get weighed down very much by the two blunders that Triple H made during this retirement tour. The ill-fated heel turn without a follow-up plan and a concrete story that you wanted to tell with him as a heel character, and Cena doing things that we wanted out of the heel character and not just staying the same and having these monotone robotic promos. And then two, the bigger one, I just feel like not enough people are going in about Brock Lesnar squashing John Cena, because like the ill-fated heel turn, I can excuse that. And I think that if the ill-fated heel turn happens and he turns babyface right before SummerSlam, and then after SummerSlam, he goes on the Cena run that we all wanted. Like he goes on, he has those AJ Styles match, he has the Cody match, he has the Logan Paul match, he has the program with Dom. We are talking about this retirement tour completely differently. But the Brock Lesnar squash, there's no reason for it. And the reason that Cena gave us made it worse. We need to build up Brock Lesnar, one of your peers. And if you are number one of the biggest wrestling stars of the last 25 years, you don't have to go through too many names before you get to Brock Lesnar. So there is no reason. They need to use your retirement tour, one of the last few dates that you are going to be able to compete and people are going to be able to see you, to squash you for Brock Lesnar, and no follow-up. And then when you think about the entire retirement tour, John Cena was never able to be the hero that everyone grew up watching him, the super Cena that overcame the odds once, not a once. He turns babyface. You can say, oh, you can probably make the argument, of stupid people make the argument, oh, Elimination Chamber. No, he took advantage of Punk and Seth's rivalry. That's a heel move. That was kind of foreshadowing for the heel turn. And then the whole heel turn is 4 months. Then he turns babyface, has that competitive matchup with Cody Rhodes. But what is his big programs after that? He faces AJ Styles, another babyface. Cena's not able to be the super Cena, hero that we grew up watching. Him and Dom. Dom is a heel, but he's a very popular heel. So you knew at the end of the day that Cena's going to want to big him up. So yeah, Dom got something out of this, but you are using Cena's retirement tour for someone else's benefit, which I know is probably what Cena wanted from his retirement tour. But I think that the whole retirement matchup with Gunther and the finish looks much better if you let Cena be a hero once. If you build him up, if you don't have the Brock squash match, if he won every match after SummerSlam, that finish, oh, it's monumental. And everybody would be liking it, or at least feel very strongly about it. I understand that people feel strongly about it, but it leans more towards the negative than the positive. And I think it would have been more positive without the Brock squash. The Brock squash is the biggest blunder of this entire retirement tour.
We'll go back to the Brock squash in just a sec. But first, let's get the pleasantries out of the way. First of all, if you haven't already, leave a thumbs up on the video. Neither of us have a Mac computer that we can do the thumbs up and the pyro with. So just assume that they're here. Jeremy will hopefully be joining us a little bit later. He's dealing with something back home. So if he joins us in time, great. If not, You got SP3 and I for the next 2 hours. You're welcome. I'm sorry, whichever you feel. So go ahead, leave a thumbs up on the video. Subscribe to the channel. If you haven't already done that, don't know what's wrong with you. You got to do it. Clips every day, shorts every day, this stuff every day. Coexisting with Rob and Maggie, the Spotlight as well. Plenty of content here on this channel. So go ahead, subscribe to us here and enjoy yourself. And finally, if you want to donate a super chat, any amount, get your question or statement read on the air. And for the person who's asking, it's right here. And I'm going to set it up eventually. I just haven't had time. I'm also waiting on a doc. Anyway, put that away. Yes, everything is fine with Jeremy. Everything will be okay. Just like I said, he's just dealing with something at home, and we're good. He will join us when he can. It's just a busy time of year, let me tell you. So, by the way, going back, the name of the person who did the Bleacher Report write-up was Donald Wood, who is also a host of Ring Rust Radio, who I remember from Mike Chiari, who used to work or do stuff, I should say, with PW Torch. So I've heard him do stuff with Wade. I never heard Donald do anything before. Again, that's not a knock on Donald. If you go back and actually read his write-up, there's probably going to be a lot of stuff there that makes sense to you. And whether you think he graded too harshly or whether you think he graded right on par with what you expected, he may either sway you or just kind of reassert your feelings. But either way, Donald does have a background in writing. He does have a background in talking wrestling. He's not the most popular wrestling chatterer out there, but he has an opinion like all the other fans, like we are. So deal with it. If you want to get angry, be nicer. Going back to Brock real quick. I largely agree with you on the Brock stuff. As it was presented, it made no sense. Did not need to be where it was, did not need the squash. It was completely just out of the blue, and it doesn't work in the grand scheme of the John Cena retirement story arc. The one way you can not necessarily fix it, but at least call it back and maybe give it some saving grace is the inevitable Gunther and Brock match, where both men get to claim that they beat John Cena, and therefore there's like the transitive property of beating somebody in sport or in wrestling that would exist here in the story. And I'm not saying that it's the perfect answer, but it's really the only way that you can tell the story between Brock and Gunther with Cena involved as part of a story beat. And otherwise, it's a very kind of lazy here, damn, I guess we got to clean this up kind of mess to do it. But it's the first one that comes to my mind when it's like, all right, we got to deal with why did Brock beat Cena? Because otherwise it doesn't make any damn sense.
Well, it's also the fact of like the big two things that Gunther did this year that will be remembered and talked about for years to come is retiring John Cena, retiring Goldberg. There's another person who has very famous feuds and wins over those two guys, and that is Brock Lesnar. However, that's actually towards the negative for me, Joel, because you're telling me that three or four of the John Cena matches of his retirement tour was used to set up a Brock Lesnar WrestleMania matchup.
I mean, first of all, I didn't say WrestleMania, so there is that.
No, but that's what it looks like. That could be the likely thing, or his retirement matchup next year at WrestleMania. Either or, but
hold on. So I mean, John did drop the little, could be, couldn't be about possibly being Minnesota, the host of SummerSlam this coming or in 2026. And you've got AJ Styles too. There's certainly they started tonight or last night on Raw, and we'll get to that when we talk about Raw. They started kind of planting the seeds for the AJ Styles and Gunther feud, and maybe it is that Gunther is turning into the legend killer, and the story is he's going to start putting people down, and not necessarily in rapid succession, but AJ Styles could be, let's say, as early as the Rumble, but realistically, I'd love it as a spotlight match on WrestleMania. That's just me. And you got 2 nights, you can make it a big deal, and then at SummerSlam you go to Brock. And maybe Brock has a beat-ass match with someone else on the card for WrestleMania, who I don't know, and I'm not there yet. But yeah, you can build to it through that. And from there, Randy Orton gets involved, and we start the legend killer of the past versus the legend killer of now. And there's a larger story there. I'm not saying Randy's hanging up the boots anytime soon, but it could be that. Could be. I don't think I would retire Rey Mysterio, for example. I really think that should be a Dom thing. But there's enough there for Gunther to go and retire people, including Chris Jericho next year. Like there is space to do it, but it could easily start with AJ and then transfer over to Brock, maybe at SummerSlam instead.
Yeah, Big Mando is mentioning Gunther retiring Brock doesn't make much sense since they're both heels unless they turn Brock babyface. I am almost 100% sure Brock Lesnar will be babyface before Minnesota. He will be. They will want him to get cheered in Minnesota, especially if it's his final matchup. So he will turn heel. He will turn babyface, and Gunther can then beat him. And Gunther getting AJ Styles at Mania would be fantastic. They would have a great match together, I think. And Gunther's been on a roll. However, he just tapped out John Cena.
Oh,
he
by
just
the way,
got some of the biggest heat you could possibly get on last night's Monday Night Raw. AJ Styles seems beneath him. I'm sorry to say that, but that is how WWE have defined AJ Styles. That's not how I define AJ Styles. I hold AJ Styles in the upper echelon. I think he's one of the best workers in WWE, and I think he should be in the main event picture. But to have someone beat John Cena and they're not like in a high profile Brock Lesnar, Roman Reigns, CM Punk, Cody Rhodes, those type of guys they're facing at WrestleMania, it seems like a letdown.
So, by the way, I forgot to add that while I don't have a poll question for today, I do have a banner. Thank you for reminding me.
You forgot Little.
Oh, you're right. Because all night our pal Joe Testator had to tell us a little B.
A little B.
A little B.
A little B.
Thank you. Let's get that right. You know what? We're gonna make that in there you go. There for creative effect. Little
lowercase.
In lowercase letters.
Very well done.
That's how we roll in this town. Yes. So we got you there. I don't have a poll question for today because then I have to log into the overbooked account and go into the chat, pause the show. It's a whole thing. I ain't doing it. But instead we'll keep talking about it. But yeah, the fact remains that John Cena and AJ Styles were they're presented on two very different planes when it comes to WWE. So as a result, you do need to spend a lot of time building up AJ Styles for the time up until Mania, if the story goes that he's going to hang up his boots at Mania, if that's the big goodbye. I don't know if they're planning to do a big event again in, let's say, Atlanta. Maybe there's a Saturday night's main event in Atlanta between now and Mania, which would be hilarious that Gunther only retires people at Saturday night's main events in like not their hometowns, but at least like in areas where they're very over, and that's how they do it.
Saturday night's Gunther main event. That's what it's gonna be renamed.
Saturday night Gunther specials. But if that's
Gunther retirements, Saturday night Gunther retirements.
But so that's the thing. Do they make it a standout Mania match for AJ Styles? Or does he get the main event of his own specialized Saturday night's main event type of show where the stakes are they're still big, but it's not WrestleMania mid card because it's not going to main event. Let's be honest. It's not going to main event, but at least if it's somewhere on the mid card that's in a prominent spot to go long and have a very solid wrestling match between these two that gets the crowd hype, you could do that, I think, in a stadium setting with the right card placement.
Yeah, you definitely can. I just feel like Brock Lesnar is the right move for Gunther at this point at WrestleMania. Because I want Gunther to win, and I don't think that AJ is just doing like 3 months of the year. Him saying that he's going to retire next year, I think he is going to give us a little bit more time than just the first 3 months of the year, and then have the retirement match against Gunther at Mania. So if it's not the retirement matchup, then it's a waste of the matchup. Also, in my opinion, and I just feel like it does more to prop up AJ on a higher level. Despite being a former WWE champion, he's been in the mid card for a year now. He lost to Logan Paul last year at WrestleMania. He's one half of the World Tag Team Champions, and these are tag team titles that WWE rarely cares about 360 days out of the year. They have 5 days they choose to care about it. And also, we're not going to be elevating AJ Styles to face Gunther because he has to lose the World Tag Team titles to face Gunther. So he's going to lose before he faces Gunther. So you're not building up AJ Styles. You're just going to be like, AJ Styles is a legend. He doesn't need to be built up. He doesn't need any wins. It's AJ Styles and Gunther. The people are going to love it.
I mean,
y'all have to think like me. I think like this company thinks. Like I went on the watch along, Joel, and I had an epic rant at the end of that Cena Gunther matchup because Romeo jumped on the bandwagon that me and Josh started. Me and Josh were like few of the first few people that was like Cena should win. Me, Josh, and Jeremy. Those are the three. Those are the three that I first heard on wrestling media be like, Cena should win this final matchup because he lost the Brock match. He lost the Dominic matchup. And these people are coming in this building to see him be the hero one last time. You haven't let him be the hero the entire time. Let him be the hero here. The booking of the retirement tour necessitated that fans like me, fans like the people in that building, just expected John Cena to at least be a hero one last time. But no, he got snuffed out. It's over. And I told Romeo, I was like, you thought you were going to get fan service? They don't care. They already got your money.
I mean, I sat here for months on this show telling you it was going to end with Cena either tapping out. My people are well aware. My feeling was he taps out and he gets stretchered out because that's never happened in his career. I wanted John Cena to get beat down so bad that he wouldn't even have time to do a thank you, because that's what John Cena would do. Classic old school wrestling mind John Cena. I'd be like, I'm out. I'm done. Don't let him see me again. Just let me go. Never to be seen again. Off into the sunset. And I guess there was some give and take in there because, Creative and Paul was like, well, then why would I get on the show? And John Cena was like, well, you don't have to be on the show. And Paul's like, well, that's a good point, but I want to be on the show. I don't know why he sounds like Vince all of a sudden, but here we are. Anyway, point is, he was still on the show. And for Cena, and I want to get your thoughts on the show, on the match itself, because we haven't talked since Thursday. And so we haven't talked on this show about the match itself. And I know Jeremy and I did, but you and I haven't. The end of the match, to me, was exactly what I expected. And what happened last night on Raw was probably the best case scenario for WWE on a storytelling level, on a reaction level to the next guy. And that's why I think, again, the finish was what it should have been. I understand the others who were going and like, John Cena, one last big win. This is it. And I'm like, you'll get that on January 4th with the other John Cena. The one who's going to play air guitar. You're going to get that guy. Unless he
exactly. Like, I just feel, it just feels like WWE is the only one that didn't get the memo that's how retirement matches are now. They are so in this 1980s way of doing retirement matches. When we're in 2025, like, I feel like between the Sting retirement, this Tanahashi retirement, like, they don't want to see their heroes die. In their last matchup, they want to see their heroes live and be the hero one last time so they can have a happy goodbye, not a very sad funeral like we saw at the end of Saturday's show.
Well, there's always a Saudi event where John Cena can slap on the jorts one more time, even though he swore up and down he wouldn't.
Oh, my missus, who, we've established has worked at WWE, she says she knows this company way better than I do, and she says, no shot, John Cena's wrestling again. That's her opinion. She's convinced. Like she's like there's no shot. She's like I literally have seen everyone come to this company, have a big retirement match, final matchup, and then they come back. You put an extra zero, you put an extra figure, extra digit, they will do it. No matter how many Hollywood roles he has, he might mess up. You saw it with The Rock. He might mess up, and then he has to come back and he has to redeem himself for it.
WWE will often stay with their the old territory adage, which was you do the business on the way out, because it used to be that when you were leaving a territory, this is back before the internet, this is back before it was really covered on TV, this is back before dirt sheets were prominent, you did the business on the way out to put over the next guy in your territory. We as wrestling fans today are more aware of what's out there and what companies are out there and what contracts are out there to know who's leaving a territory when and where. And John called his shot in this case. He told you, Money in the Bank 24, like I'm leaving. This is it. So you can see it from multiple ways. You can see it as they got all the way to the end. John Cena said he was leaving and he left on his own accord, and he did it the way he was supposed to do. or he was booked poorly on the way out because they were like, nah, we don't need to worry about this guy anymore. Let's just beat him and be done with him and move on. Which, like, both statements are kind of true at the same time, because John got to go on the run where he at least got the title and they did the heel turn, and we all know how we feel about that. But like, he got the title, he got the, beat the stupid record, and he got to go out there one more time and make a ton of money on merch and get out there and do what he loves to do, entertain the fans. I hope you entertain tonight. But at the same time, WWE was like, oh my God, we can finally be done with bringing in John Cena to shoehorn him in for our creative when he's not part of our creative. We only wish we could do that with The Rock, but Rock's on the board, so we're screwed. Like, it was literally both sides of the argument here of them just being like, let's just get through this and hope that something happens on the way out. And they did with Gunther, at least.
You know what's funny, though? Because Triple H says, he did what's right for business. It's a time-honored tradition, and I always try to follow a tradition. I just thought about it while you were talking. I think the rest of the top 10 greatest WWE wrestlers of all time, they all won their final WWE matchup. Triple H, Shawn Michaels, The Undertaker, The Rock. Technically, if that's his final matchup, he won. Austin, he came back and he won. Like, the greatest stars that Cena's name will be a part of. They can all say they won their final WWE matchup. Cena's the only one. So maybe that's also the intention of Triple H. He wants Cena to be so special. He's the only one that lost their final WWE matchup. See,
the only big loser.
I dig it.
All right, that's fine with me. So let's talk about the match real quick, because again, haven't had your thoughts on it. You did watch it on Saturday night, I assume. You watched it live with your friends on True Heel Heat. Go check them out, by the way, if you haven't already. Check out True Heel Heat on YouTube. The match itself, I want your thoughts all the way up to the tap out. Let's talk about the match itself. What were your feelings watching it go down? I personally enjoyed it quite a lot.
The match was exceptional. As far as like storytelling, big match feel, this had it all. And Gunther is one of the greatest performers to ever walk into a WWE ring. He just knows how to play the role of monster heel and just completely battered Cena. And he knows how to get heat as well, because Gunther has a plethora of moves in his arsenal. But all we saw on Saturday night was lariat, clothesline, power bomb, sleeper hold. He just kept it so simple, and I loved it. It made the Cena hope spots just get a bigger pop, a bigger sense of like satisfaction to see Cena power up and do the shoulder blocks, do the 5-knuckle shuffle. I love the moment where he says, "We're gonna do one more," and then he just gets kicked in the face. That was awesome. I love that type of stuff. I love the AA off the steel steps through the table, the avalanche AA. That actually convinced me. I was like, maybe he can win, but no, it was not enough. And just the ending with the relentlessness of Gunther going for the sleeper and not letting up at all. I thought this was a fantastic match, a fantastic story that they told. Like, I think I gave it like 4.25, 4.5 stars when I did the review. Like, it's up there as far as like a top 10 WWE match of the year, especially when you consider importance and storytelling. There's not many matches from WWE this year that's better than that. So as far as how the match itself went, I loved it. I loved every minute of it. However, I think that the finish could have been done better. Even if you're going to do the smile and the tap out, I probably would squeeze in one more host spot, especially after he does the 3, because I felt like that was the biggest like pop of the matchup, is when he has his arm up and he does the 3 and he powers up. You could have milked that a lot more than you did. You immediately go to the anvil and elbows and then the last sleeper, and that's it. You got to milk that. You get that type of pop. Like, Bayley is still celebrating the 3. She doesn't even see the finish from the camera, from the fan cam, because she's so hyped, because that is the hype moment. Like, you can see us on the watch along. We're all putting the 3s up. You're like, yeah, let's go, Cena. Power up. If he hits one more AA and he's not able to get the pin, or he's unable to do it, and then maybe you reverse the things and you do the the last AA where Gunther pops up and puts him in the sleeper, you save it to that. You save it till after the 3 put up, and then he hits the AA. You're like, oh, he's gonna do it. 1, 2, Gunther kicks out, and then Gunther puts on the last sleeper, and that's it. I think if you would have adjusted that a little bit, I think you could have gotten an even better ending to the matchup. I'm not on the whole thing of, I've seen many people be like, oh, this is one of the greatest finishes of all time. Oh, it's so beautiful and stuff like that. No, it's just, it made sense. It made sense. It was a great match overall and a logical finish to the matchup. I don't think it's this beautiful story of tapestry of what John Cena's character really is and all that stuff. No, I don't think it's that.
One thing that really needed to be hit with this match was, like you said, the story in the match, because they did not have any time to build to the match itself. It was Gunther wins a tournament. Gunther carries the entirety of the feud or the build, I guess, to the match, because John Cena is not showing up again. And as a result, you needed to tell the story within the match. And they did a great job of that. And that's one thing that I really, really anticipated and really glad that they actually pulled it off. Which it shouldn't shock anyone. Both men are very good at telling stories in the ring for different reasons too. That's what kind of made this such a great match, is they were both running their style but against each other, which made it make sense. I think someone had pointed out, I forget who it was, maybe it was Ibu, talking about how Gunther definitely doesn't know the 5 moves of doom because he was so
no, he stayed down on that second shoulder block.
He was just
he was like, oh, get up. Okay, cool.
Man's too busy watching old NJPW. He don't know John Cena what he's doing.
No, he's watching Masa Tanaka versus Awesome for the 500th time.
That's right. So I loved that, but otherwise, like they did such a great job catching up what these two meant to wrestling and what these two meant to, not to each other, because each other didn't matter. Gunther was just like, this is another day at the office. John Cena was like, this is my last match. I'm going to give it my all. Like, there was a good amount of storytelling in this match. So the finish, so I'm going to agree with you and disagree with you at the same time. I agree that John did not do anything that was like super special with the tap out. To me, I actually said it was pretty selfish of him, because they did it in a way where he was like, I'm saving face and I'm just going to smile and tap. It's like, you got me. And for that, like I said it yesterday, you can see it 2 ways. You can see it that way, or you can see it as John Cena kind of being like, all right, my best wasn't good enough. I'm done. That's it. John's very meta. We know this. John Cena is an incredibly meta character and has been for many, many years. To me, the finish was John Cena getting cutesy and meta one last time. Mm-hmm. And for that, it's, again, very subjective art form. You're either going to love it or you're going to dislike it. Personally, in the moment, I was like, of course, that's what John Cena does. That's not good. That's not bad. It's just what I expected. So for me,
one thing I didn't mention, the post-match came off flat as hell. Even without the Triple H of it all, like Cena did not look comfortable taking those titles. He did not want to hold those titles up and do all of that. Like Cody and Punk, this was probably Triple H in their ear, like, oh, it's gonna be a cool moment. You know, you give Cena both the titles and he raises up as our champion before he retires. It's gonna be great. But Cena didn't want to do it.
So Jeremy and people in the chat said that this harkened back to the Hogan goodbye, when it was Cena and Batista giving the titles to Hogan on Hogan's way out. But it felt like, because the Cena goodbye has been so meticulous and so curated, they had to do it, and Cena didn't know about it. And if Cena didn't know about it, Cena was uncomfortable by it. And as a result, and I don't know this to be true, but this is just the way it comes off to me watching it, he was like, I didn't plan for this, and he didn't want to do it. And my most favorite part of all of this was when they show the video, the tribute video. Go look at this. And there is not a reaction to be seen until that septuagenarian on the photo, but actually an octogenarian, because he's an old ass now, shows up on the screen. He's like, oh, John Cena, he's my favorite. And John's like, I miss you, daddy. And he's got a dad, but doesn't matter. His dad didn't want to have that to Gunther.
Basically, Cena treats his dad like Vince treats his son. He treats everybody else like his son, except for his own son. That's why Shane only gets happy birthday, Shane McMahon. And then if Triple H's birthday, he's the greatest. He's one of the closest people to me. He's an amazing human being. Happy birthday.
The Babe Ruth of professional wrestling. He's incredible. He's amazing. He married my favorite daughter. That's what the Shane birthday tweet was forever my favorite.
But yeah, like I think that I feel like this is what Triple H wanted at the end of the day. The fact that he became the talking point after a John Cena retirement matchup. I think that's like a dream come true for him. Like he's like, I'm the center of attention. And that's why he had one of the most arrogant interviews you will ever have with someone in wrestling management is that post show. That post show, the level of arrogance meets rattledness, because he did not expect them to be that loud, did not expect them to chant AEW. So he was rattled, no matter how much the Triple H defenders want to deny it. He's joking. He was joking. I'm sorry. A lot of people joke when they're nervous and rattled. That's human nature, sir. That is how it works. But his ums during the answers were very telling, and just the level of arrogance to not be like, he part of the whole post show, he was very kind of like reflective and explaining his reasonings for why this result happened. But then the other part of him has to be 2007 Triple H, and I thought you'd be louder. I'm so arrogant. I know better than you. And the laugh, the hug and the laugh. My dude, that was so freaking comic book villain. Like, we really got him. We got their money and we got away with it.
And he went off and bragged about how much money they made for another night. And they'll do the same next round too. Our pal Micah, Mocha City, ya bish. Morning, fellas. Micah here. I just want to take the time to share my wrestler of the year today. There are definitely many that deserve it, but mine is Gunther, because he made that bitch John Cena tap out. That little bitch, by the way. Maybe there wasn't enough characters, but we got you. Thank you, Micah. Yes. So Gunther gets the pin. Gunther gets the win. He doesn't get the pin. He gets a submission. More importantly, get a little 3 taps. We give up. Sometimes give up. Big smile. Anyway, we fast forward to Monday Night Raw, and Gunther comes out first. And buddy, I loved it. I loved every minute. You know what I loved most about it? So Gunther comes out and he gets the microphone and he's just boos, showering down. But before he even gets into the ring to do anything, he goes up and he stands on the announce table and he goes around the crowd and he has his victory lap, and then he gets into the ring and he doesn't even speak. He just enjoys the boos. He gets up. He's got the spotlight on him, and it's the spotlight that only covers the ring apron, or sorry, the center of the ring, not the apron. And he goes up on the turnbuckle, and the people who are running production are probably like, "Oh shit, he's on the turnbuckle and he's pitch black. We need to fix this now." So he has to get up and get the light on them, and then eventually he's the happiest man in the world, having the time of his life, and all he has to say is, "I made your hero tap out like a little bitch." All he had to do.
Yo, and he could have ended the promo right there, but he milked this shit. It was so good. It's the closest thing we've gotten to post WrestleMania 33 Roman reaction after he beat The Undertaker. Nothing will come close to that. I was in the building for that. That last night pales in comparison to that. I heard some people that were thinking when they saw Gunther getting booed towards the bus that it was going to be even worse than the Roman Reigns. No, this is fans rejecting someone who just beat their hero. This is someone, the last night was them fully accepting that Gunther is the new monster heel that just got rid of our hero. It's distinctly different. The reactions to this felt more genuine boos than we even get for like the Dominic Mysterio when it became a bit in 2023 that everybody just boo him so he can't talk, or even with Don Callis in AEW, it's kind of a bit at this point to boo him so he can't talk. This was boos like, we hate you for what you just did to us. Gunther, and Gunther was having the time of his life, milking every single boo out of these people. He dropped the mic after I made him tap like a little bitch, and he comes back and he gets on the announce table. He's like, "Are you mad now? I'll say it again. I made John Cena tap out like a little bitch."
The best.
I was like, oh my god, this is like a king who's getting showered and getting trash thrown on him, and he's just like, I'm powerful. It doesn't matter.
It was, and also they got the reaction. They got the reaction that they wanted. They didn't get the Roman reaction, which I agree with. They, at this point, to me, it was the fans were following along. They were some of them were still upset that he tapped out John Cena for real, but at the end of the day, they were also like, all right, this is the guy we got to boo. You know what? They did such a good job. I'm going to play along. And I would have too. If I was sitting in the stands, I would have been like, oh yeah, boo this guy. He sucks. But also it's almost in 2025. It's like the respect for a wrestler is playing along with the character, is giving them the respect of playing what the character is supposed to be. And in this case, he's a bad guy. He's full of himself. He is, and this is a different Gunther too, because he's not being, the ring general, the mat is sacred and everything is, yeah, I beat him and I'll beat him again. He's just full of himself. He's confident. He's cocky. It will eventually lead to his downfall because that's what happens. You are hoisted by your own petard. But right now, you're going to see a rise in Gunther as someone who is so confident that nothing can stop him. And you would need to build that confidence, and you need to build it to a point where fans are almost throwing D-cell batteries at him again, like we're, Mexico in the 50s. Let's I guess it was the 60s and 70s, but regardless, like we need to do it. We need to do it the right way.
Yes. You could really build him up to be this like overpowering heel when you have like the top guys in the company can all play big top baby faces. Roman Reigns, Cody Rhodes, CM Punk, even a Brock Lesnar to a certain extent. Like we kind of figure he's going to be babyface by next summer, so he's going to be in that picture as well. Seth Rollins, when he comes back after being a heel this year, he's going to be a babyface. So you need that one top heel who can work with all these guys, and it's all fresh matchups for Gunther. That's the other thing. Gunther's never even interacted with Roman Reigns. He's had one match with CM Punk. He's never had a match with Seth Rollins. He's had one match with Cody Rhodes, and he has all this history from the Royal Rumble. He is such a fresh figure that we needed desperately in the main event picture, and I hope this does solidify him with that. And honestly, I thought him drawing out and milking all that heat was amazing, but I thought the cherry on top was the backstage stuff with all the people reacting to him and treating him like he's just committed this crime above crime. And it's not the crime of beating Cena. It's the crime of boasting about it and spitting on his legacy afterward, pissing on his grave afterward. Adam Pearce giving him the riot act, telling him you need to leave, and R-Truth getting in his face like you did that to my brother John Cena. And then AJ Styles standing there outside. That was a little like tidbit to be like, this is a future feud. I wish that outside of this was great. Him doing this to AJ. I would have done this. I would have gave him one line to say. He rolls down the window and says, "Oh yeah, you're retiring next year, right?" Do that, and then right off.
you got time to do it, and so Zero.
No. It's this company, Joe. It's this company, Joe. We all know, Joe. If they miss an opportunity the first time, they're going to keep missing the opportunity. This company has never seen an opportunity that they didn't want to miss. They will miss it. They will never mention it.
But the thing is, AJ hasn't mentioned on WWE TV that he's out.
Yeah, he has.
Has he said this is it?
Yes, several times. He did that interview on the pre-show because the pre-show is canon.
Yeah,
we've had injury angles. We had Bailey getting taken out on the WrestleMania pre-show. We had the announcement of AAA Lucha Libre. Like that is a part of canon. Pre-shows are a part of canon. Dark matches are not. House shows are not. But the pre-show, that is the setup for it. Most of us don't watch it, but it's still canon. It still counts. And commentary mentioned it as well. And then AJ got asked about it after Crown Jewel and confirmed that he is retiring next year on an interview, a backstage interview on Monday Night Raw. He's mentioned it. Commentary's mentioned it. Pre-show mentioned it first. It is canon.
I think when they hit you over the head with it, that's when Gunther is going to say something about it. I think that's when they'll do it. Last night was planting seeds.
Yeah.
What happens next is obviously the next piece. I thought they did a good job of having that the start of this build tonight.
However, my nitpick here. This did remind me about the last time Triple H had this big moment. They got a person all this heat, and then they went backstage, and everyone in the locker room hated them. And it's one of the biggest fumbles of Triple H's whole entire career as a booker. It's the New Day. It's the New Day at the end of this time last year. They did the same shit. They got someone a whole bunch of heat where we thought they were going to have a big. And yes, Gunther is booked much better under Triple H than the New Day. That's for damn sure. However, I did have some apparation when I did remember the last time they did something like that.
Well, it's the New Day. Nobody actually pays attention to the New Day anymore. Oh God, what is this?
Because you don't see color.
What is this? Oh, who is this masked man with a long braid at the end? What is this? No. It's Jeremy Theory.
Oh my God, I did not know.
Hair looks great like that.
No word.
Your hair looks fantastic like that. Might be time for a Christmas trim, my friend.
No, I wanted to keep it like this instead of shaving my head like everyone else just shaves their head when
Did you see his tweet?
Whose tweet?
Theory.
No, I don't pay attention to him.
He just tweeted like a half hour ago, tweeted mask off. And I'm like, no, not now, not this.
Ooh, okay. How you doing, Jeremy?
He looks great.
This angle sucks.
You know what the best part was? For people who pay attention to this show particularly, the fact that they had a finish and you still have to talk about Raw.
This angle sucks.
It's like last week with the NXT episode when you're like, good chance I don't have to review NXT. It does suck. That angle sucked, but it was exactly what you expected.
I hate this angle.
But what if
show? I hate this company.
What if it's Logan Paul putting together his own vision, and it's Logan Paul who brought in Austin Theory, and he's trying to lead himself?
I heard the rumor is Jake Paul is going to be one of the masked men.
They'll call it MVP Productions, and you'll get another guy in AEW being like, "Pause."
This angle sucks. This show sucks. That's why I'm so disheveled, because I had to sit through that entire Monday Night Raw just to get to the reveal of Austin Theory.
And that is like so far down the totem pole of the worst things that happened on last night's show for me personally. But
nothing
I understand.
Was worse.
I'm an Austin Theory fan. Austin Theory stocks are up, and they're much higher than Dark State. You're welcome. He was a part of a main event angle. All Dark State does is beat the jabronis on freaking NXT. That's all they do. Who cares? Who cares about their Temu? That Temu team. Temu Jason Jordan. Temu random football player who became a wrestler. Temu Cutler James. Because they just ruined the best character from LFG. Austin Theory. This is where we're at. Austin Theory with his Justin Timberlake in Alpha Dog's haircut.
Good movie.
Great movie.
Yeah.
That's right.
Austin Theory with his Daniel Garcia haircut. Shot for shot remake of the Garcia review at All In. Just completely, I think Theory went up, Garcia went over. That's about the only difference. Same haircut, same look on his face. Better reaction for Garcia, we'll say that much. but
The low bar for that comparison. One was 10,000 people in an arena. The other one was the EC. Oh, I guess it was all in. Never mind.
it was all in.
Yeah,
Come on.
that's like, what are we doing?
I was thinking about the ECW arena when he did the turn. That's what I was thinking about.
Oh, the Death Rider's turn.
Yeah. I got my confused. I confused my turns.
I see you folks did not do a poll question today. This is what happens to the show.
Well, I mentioned in the chat that I wasn't doing one, but I got the banner. Because if I had to the poll question means I have to go into the YouTube, I have to open up the video, I have to pause the video so that it doesn't leak into the video that we're doing, and then I have to do the so you do it.
That's a lot.
Joel has to do work, and God forbid.
I did enough work today. It's my day off.
No, that's fair. I do appreciate you jumping on the show. Short notice. Yeah, I'm not going to get into what's going on. Fortunately, things are okay, but it's been a morning, folks. It's been a morning. All right. The poll question for today is Austin Theory, ? And your options are no pop, give it a chance. I'm being fair in this poll question. I'll even put in SP3 favorite. Austin Theory stocks up. Theory stocks up.
Visionary. He's a visionary.
And I'm out of here, like the SpongeBob meme. I'm out of here.
All right, I'm out.
I'm done. Yeah. All right, I'm
not
out.
Even the worst thing on last night's show. Because man, I'm
That's
sorry.
A cool question.
I've realized that my lot in life in wrestling media is to be the guy who says stuff that everybody was thinking, but not everybody will say, because we live in this 2025 world where you can't be critical of professional wrestlers. The wrestlers get upset, management gets upset, fans get upset, but I'm just going to say it. That Maxine Dupree versus Ivy Now match was fucking awful. Oh my God. It felt like they were wrestling in quicksand. Everything they did looked so awkward, so bad. Maxine did not. This whole character for Maxine is not good because she's not able to translate it back into the ring. Oh my God, that match was so bad. But you'll get people that be like, oh, Maxine's so improved. She's so improved. Yeah, she wrestles like she's a 1990s WWF women's wrestler, but now she wrestles like she's a 2004 diva. Congratulations.
What I'd like to see them do with this, I'm not saying I disagree with you, because I do. And she's never going to come off as a better wrestler just because she took 2 weeks off and like shot vignettes with Natty. Like, that's not really the point of this. I think the idea, or at least the way I would play it, is she's confident, overconfident, and the confidence is eventually going to catch up to her. I don't think WWE has the capacity to tell that story, but that's the story that I would tell, is that she is overconfident. She's getting the wins by not necessarily fluke, but just things that Natty taught her. And eventually she gets too big for her britches and she loses to someone like Natty. Natty comes in and says, hey, you ain't shit. And that's it. If that's the way they present it, then I would take what you say and I'd probably run it back and just be like, listen, not a good wrestler, saw what we were doing, the story's different. But if you're taking it at face value, last night's match, no, wasn't good. Was Maxine, was it capable? Sure. But like, capable wrestling shouldn't be what you aspire to on TV. It should be a very good match at best, or sorry, at the least for your television show. So I agree with you. I hope that they turn it into some sort of story where she's just too confident, but I doubt they will.
To answer delayed grabs, Harley Cameron is better than Maxine Dupree, because at least Harley Cameron, you put a mic in her face, you put her in a backstage segment, she's going to do something entertaining outside of the ring. In the ring, I don't know if there's much difference between them, but at least Harley is effortlessly entertaining in everything outside of it. And when I watch her matches, I'm like, okay, she's improving. I don't say that when I'm watching a Maxine match, unless she's against the greatest of all time, Becky Lynch, Rebecca Quinn.
And it's not just her saying it.
It's me saying it. Sports Illustrated is saying it. Like,
just making sure. Jeremy, you're a big Maxine Dupree fan.
Am I?
I don't know. Are you?
I mean, she's like fine. I don't know if I'm like a huge fan. I didn't think this match was any good. I do legitimately love, not legitimately, but I do love when like you can clip a match and people are like, Maxine, look how great this is. Look at this great spot here. And I'm like, yeah, sure.
Yo,
but
her leg strikes, those spinning heel kicks. Oh my god.
So somebody clipped it. Like I watched the match, but it's very funny watching like the clip, and then she's going through like her comeback and everything, and like, look at this. This is so good. I'm like, I don't know, man. The strikes don't look that great. It looks like she's like thinking about every step she is taking. And like, but look at this cool move she did. I'm like, yeah, like everybody can look good in like kind of a rehearsed looking spot that like, all right, let's make sure we hit this. And they did a good job of hitting it. Like, more power to them. Sometimes you don't even get that, but it was, I don't know what people expect from Maxine. This is the same thing I said about Zelina. And I know it's very easy to, like, Zelina wasn't good in that match on Friday. I'm not trying to defend Zelina being her role in that match. She hadn't wrestled in 3 months. Maxine is just beginning as a full-time wrestler. Like, she was not on television for very long. She was a manager. She didn't even have a whole lot of reps. She had no reps in NXT. Literally 0 television reps in NXT. And then they put her on TV and they made her a wrestler, and now it's like, look at her. Look, she's the Intercontinental Champion. Like, they are putting her, much like Zelina on Friday, they're putting these people in a position to fail. And then they can't be that surprised when they fail and when it doesn't look good. She should not be in this role of Women's Intercontinental Champion tasked to carry some of these matches. And it's not only the fact that like the matches aren't good. It's look who she's in there with. There's no disrespect to Ivy Nile. She means nothing on television. Literally nothing. And so you can't put her in there with someone like Ivy Nile and be like, all right, go 1, have a great match. Go 2, get people to care. It's like, well, Ivy Nile hasn't wrestled. I'm sure she's done some main event stuff, but Ivy Nile hasn't wrestled on television in months. No one cares about Ivy Nile because she's never on television. And so you're starting from point 0. Like, that's the starting point. 0 is the starting point. And then you're telling them, like, go out there and make it a 10. It's like, well, they ain't to that level to make it a 10. So you can't be surprised when they don't make it a 10. You know, if she's out there with Rhea Ripley, it's like, all right, you're at least starting from a 6 or 7.
Yeah.
At that point, because you got Rhea Ripley, who the music hits and one of the biggest pops on the night. So you're at least starting there. And then it's like, okay, make it a 10. Okay, maybe you don't get there, but at least you're giving her a chance to succeed at that point. With Maxine, she's not really given a great chance because she's less than 2 years into television wrestling. She has, 20 matches overall? She's a champion. And they put her in there with, of all the people on the roster, of all the people, look at the Raw women's roster. Look at the SmackDown women's roster. Is there, like, Michin might be the other person, but at least Michin gets, like, reps at BFAB. But, like, was there a potentially colder person to put her in there with than Ivy Nile, who literally gets, at least Michin, she gets her feud of the month every couple of months. BFAB gets her match of the month every couple of months. Candice LeRae doesn't wrestle a ton, but at least she's in segments with Gargano and Ciampa. Is there literally anybody that has less going for her who has been on television this year than Ivy Nile? And I'm really not sure there is.
I think they were hoping that people would harken back to the time that Ivy Nile and Maxine Dupree worked together on screen. And then they had the breakup. And they were hoping that this would translate into whatever the match was supposed to be. It wasn't. That's the problem. Because it just happened out of nowhere. and they didn't do any build to it other than Ivy just being upset, and that's how they made the match. So it doesn't work.
And yeah, there's one thing when it's a bad matchup. It's another thing when it's a bad matchup that the fans don't care about. That's what made that the worst thing on last night's show, is that the fans could not be asked to care. And I think the worst part about that is that transferred to the next matchup, and they don't care about the Women's World Championship either. Like I think that not enough is being talked about how WWE has worked against the best thing about them in 2025, which is the women's division. The booking of the Intercontinental and US Championships is a fucking embarrassment. Like the fact that you had Chelsea Green, this adored, beloved moment by everybody at the end of 2024, and coming into this year, you're thinking, oh, she's going to establish the title. This is going to be great. And yes, Chelsea is able to be entertaining anytime she's on camera. She didn't do anything with that title in the first run. She just feuded with Michin whole time, and then she feuded with Zelina and Michin. It's the two feuds that define her first reign. And then Zelina Vega had one of the most forgettable title reigns in recent WWE history. And then Julia's reign, oh my God, it was even worse than Zelina's, because you actively ruined one of your up-and-coming stars, a star that was a big Joshi legend over in Japan, and you just ruined her immediately upon her coming to the main roster, and you gave her a nothing title reign that you didn't care about. And now Chelsea's got the title back, and she's feuding with another heel in Jade Cargill. None of this makes sense. Tiffany Stratton was booked horribly as WWE Women's Champion. She only faced a couple of people: Charlotte Flair, Nia Jax. That's all she faced in her entire freaking run before she then started facing Jade Cargill 100 different times as well. And then Jade, you gave her the title, and it's obvious you don't have any plan until Bianca Belair cuts back. We're just going to give Jade the title. She's going to spin her wheels, and then Bianca come back, and then we'll have a few for WrestleMania. See? Good booking, right? And then the WWE Women's World Championship. These people get the title, and they either stop wrestling or they stop being as over as they once were. To listen to Stephanie Vicaria's reaction last night in comparison to where she was when she won the title at WrestlePalooza, that is telling.
I have to get going.
Okay.
But do you want to talk about the Mick Foley thing when you get a chance?
Oh, sure. Do you want to talk about it now, or do you want
Let's do it real quick. So Mick Foley just he put it out on his Instagram. I thought this was worth putting out there. Mick has decided that I'll read it verbatim. The post says, parting ways with WWE. While I have been concerned about WWE's close relationship with Donald Trump for several months, especially in light of his administration's ongoing cruel and inhumane treatment of immigrants and pretty much anyone who, quote, looks like an immigrant, unquote, reading the president's incredibly cruel comments in the wake of Rob Reiner's death is the final straw for me. By the way, Rob Reiner, big wrestling fan. Continuing on, I no longer wish to represent a company that coddles a man so seemingly void of compassion as he marches our country towards autocracy. Last night, I informed WWE Talent Relations that I would not be making any appearance for the company as long as this man remains in office. Additionally, I will not be signing a new Legends deal when my current one expires in June. I love WWE. Will always treasure my time with them, and I am deeply appreciative for all the opportunities they afforded me. But in the words of Popeye the Sailor, I stands all I can stands. I can't stands no more. End quote.
Bang bang.
But I had to laugh at the end because of yesterday when we talked about Y6. Yeah, but maybe Mick listens to the show, and that's what gave him the idea. But regardless, no, Mick has decided that he is parting ways with WWE for now. His Legends contract is up in June. He's told them we're no longer going to work together, and if things might be revisited down the line. It's entirely possible, but he's not the only one who feels a certain way about the way the world is going. And for him to take a stand personally, I respect him a lot more for it. I'm going to leave because I got to
wait for Mick Foley to root Eddie Kingston on to winning the AEW World Championship. It's going to be
fine by me. I'm getting out of here. I'll let you guys talk about it.
Thank you, Joel.
But thank you guys. I'll see you guys tomorrow for whatever this show is going to be. Take care.
Thank you, Joe.
I appreciate Joel. I had some stuff to take care of. I messaged him last minute. He fortunately was able to do the show. As far as Foley goes, Foley is in a position to where he can do this, right? He's on a Legends deal, which you get a cut of, I guess, the video game merchandise, things like that. Foley makes just as much as going to these conventions and getting all this money on his own. I'm sure he's not hurting for this merchandise and video game money and everything. So Foley's in a position where he can do this. I'm sure there are people on the roster who feel the way Foley feels, but they are not in a position where they can do this, where they can just outright leave or quit their job. I'm sure there are other legends who want to do this, and they simply, maybe they don't feel they're in a position, or they're quietly doing this. I mean, ain't heard from Batista in a while. We know where he stands politically, and he was supposed to go in the Hall of Fame years ago. And, you know, who knows when that's going to happen. I'm not saying Batista has cut any ties with WWE or anything like that, but I do think it does say a little bit the fact that Batista, you know, doesn't really have anything to do with them right now. Again, that could be for any number of reasons, but we also know where he stands politically, and we know where WWE stands politically. This is not... I truthfully don't want to make this a political podcast. That doesn't... It certainly doesn't serve me. But we also got to be real in the world that we live in, and we got to be real in what's going on with WWE. You have Linda McMahon as part of the administration. You have Triple H and Stephanie appearing at the White House on a seemingly monthly basis at this point. This is deeper than, yeah, we know they support these people, but they're not like going to outright say it type of thing, but we know where they stand. They are very clear and very open and very honest about where they stand. And I don't really care for the person that they stand with right now. Like, forget the Rob Reiner post was him being a god-awful person, as he typically is. Just everything else, everything that he stands for, everything that happens in our country. I'm not going to go too deep into what I was doing this morning. I will say this. What I was doing this morning, where I was this morning, I should not have to be doing with my children. It is something that should not be a concern for the children that I have. It should not be a concern for me as a parent. And yes, it's been a concern for years now. Unfortunately, it's also gotten a whole lot worse in more recent times, in the last 5 to 10 years. Yep. And it's very sad that, you know, my children have to go through this, and me and my wife as parents have to go through this. And they can do something, and they're not going to do anything. They're never gonna do anything, because this will give it away. Thoughts and prayers. That's what they're gonna do about things. Yeah. And it's very sad. It's very sad. But good on Mick Foley for standing up against this and cutting ties. Again, he's in a position to do it. I respect him that he did it. I also understand why other people who potentially can feel the same way cannot do the same thing as him.
Yeah, and yeah, like the chat is saying, you know, I'm sorry that you had to deal with that, and yeah.
Fortunately, I'll say this. Fortunately, everything is okay. Everything's fine.
Yeah, but the fact that had to be on your mind and be a focus, and for your kids as well. Like, I think that our job as parents is to shield kids away from the realities of the world, and the fact that it comes at our doorstep sometimes, that's a little worrying. And it's kind of the world that we live in, and the country that Jeremy is currently in, and why I was so happy to get on a plane last night. This country, and especially that Rob Reiner story is so sad. It's so sad because we all know what it looks like. We all know what this looks like. If you saw the video that he put out before he passed away, you know what this looks like. This is scary. Like, you cannot say anything about this man. This is a dictatorship that America is currently living in without it actually being official. Like, that is scary as hell. That you could see a celebrity speak up against him, and then a couple of days later they pass away, and then he has that tweet, that response to it. I can understand if somebody's like, I'm fed up. If you support them, I don't want to be associated with you. I understand where Mick Foley is coming from, and especially I understand Mick Foley mainly because he's a New Yorker as well. He's from Long Island. He's gonna have that New York mindset that I always have, and yeah, there's always going to be that nail in the coffin or that line that shouldn't have been passed. And I can understand for Mick, who I think he was a good friend of Rob Reiner, because Rob Reiner was such a big wrestling fan. I can understand if that was it for him.
Yeah. Again, good on Mick Foley. I don't think he loses a ton out of this, honestly. And that's why, again, I think he's in a position to do this, and other people might not be in that position. And that's unfortunate too, that they are not in that position. But maybe this will lead to other people who are like, okay, you know what? I don't need this Legends deal. What is this Legends deal? What is it really doing for me? A couple extra bucks? Yeah. Is that worth sacrificing my morals and my views to get those extra dollars? I can make those back on the conventions. So we'll see if other people follow suit. If they don't begrudge them at all. And if they do, again, more power to those people. But yeah, good on Mick.
Yeah, good on Mick. Always one of the best people in wrestling, period. And he just proved it again.
All right. I wasn't able to listen to the first portion of the show, so I apologize. I assume you guys talked about the Gunther stuff.
Yeah, we talked about the Gunther stuff. They got my thoughts on the Gunther and Cena matchup, and my epic rant that I gave to Romeo, who was really believing that Cena was going to win, and I was like, they already got your money, man. It's all right. It's okay. Move on. But yeah, we talked about that. But pretty much Gunther was the focus of the first hour, and we of course talked about the Maxine Dupree of it all. So we got a little bit more of Raw to get into.
Real quickly on Gunther, I liked the promo last night. It was a good follow up to what happened on Saturday. I like that he kept coming back and playing for more. Oh, he got a good reaction. He got the reaction that you would hope he would get after what happened on Saturday. I hope they can maintain it. I hope they have plans, whatever it might be, moving forward to keep him at this level. I thought it was dumb that Adam Pearce was upset over his promo and winning the match, and he banned him from the building. Like, he won a wrestling match that you booked him in, or that he earned the right to be booked in, and then as a heel, he was like, yeah, I made him tap out. Why are you mad at him? Why are you kicking him out of the building for this?
Because he spit on the grave. He spit on the legacy of John Cena. I was fine with that. I was fine with that. I just don't like the only part of the backstage part that I didn't like is Otis and Tozawa. And then like Truth makes sense. But Otis and Tozawa, and then and Tozawa cut a promo that's gonna lead to Otis versus Gunther as Gunther's first match since beating Cena. I'm sorry. Count me out.
Which is worse, because I said on the show yesterday, I was like, he's going to be confronted by R-Truth, which, okay, at least R-Truth makes some sense. If that's the follow-up, like, could you get to a different level? Yes, but at least R-Truth, there's some ties there. Otis and Tozawa, it's like, dude, Rusev beat these people when he returned, and then they haven't done anything since. What are we doing with Otis and Tozawa being the first guys after Gunther? But
we also talked about the possibility was teased last night about AJ Styles and Gunther, and the chat and Joel were suggesting that might be the WrestleMania matchup. And I don't know if this is a hot take or not. I think that's a downgrade for Gunther because of how WWE books AJ Styles, not because of who AJ Styles is. Oh, the match is not going to be fantastic. I think it is, but okay, he just had Gunther beat one of the greatest superstar of all time. He should probably be in a title picture or facing one of your top stars. AJ Styles is not one of their top stars, unfortunately. I think he should be, but he's not.
I think everything's a downgrade after beating Cena. So I'm
No,
looking
no,
at
no.
it as
Hey, you get a title matchup. That's not a downgrade. Get a WWE title match against Cody Rhodes or face Roman Reigns or Brock Lesnar. That's on the same level of facing John Cena.
I think everything's a downgrade of facing and retiring John Cena. AJ Styles is certainly a bigger downgrade than, yes, a title match or facing Brock Lesnar or Roman Reigns. You're only retiring John Cena. You're only getting one shot at facing John Cena in his last match. You can face Roman Reigns anytime in the year. You can face Brock Lesnar anytime in the year. You can get a title shot any time of the year. You only got one match against John Cena in his last match. So that's why I'm viewing it as everything is a downgrade. Now, if it's Roman Reigns' last match, then it's not quite a downgrade.
I don't think it's that big, like that big that nothing else is comparable to it, mainly because of how WWE booked him, not because of, I think, lower of John Cena. I think John Cena all time in professional wrestling history, he's a top 10 guy. WWE history, he's a top 4 guy. So don't get me wrong, John Cena is one of my favorite wrestlers of all time. I've told the story all the time. My AIM name back in 2003 was J Cena KB8 because I was a John Cena fan before y'all was shooting in the gym. Don't get me wrong. All of that to say, Brock Lesnar squashed him. It's over after that. It's over after that. This is not as big as you want to believe it is after they have him squashed by Brock Lesnar and then he lost to Dominic Mysterio in his last PLE. Like, no, they booked him horribly. They never allowed him to be the hero once. So it's not as big as it could have been. And that it's not as big as it could have been, and it's not as big as everything else that he can do afterwards. I feel like this. Like I saw people comparing the finish and the reaction to Brock Lesnar beating The Undertaker for the streak, and I don't.
That's stupid.
I thought it was two different things. I thought it was two different things. But what is comparable? Brock Lesnar didn't need to end the streak. It was because the booking, Vince McMahon booked him so horribly from his return, his losses to Cena and Triple H, that it necessitated him beating Undertaker to get the aura back, the status back to Brock Lesnar and make him this overpowering monster heel. Gunther was on that path to being that monster heel before the beginning of 2025. But all he's done in 2025, Triple H, is book him horribly. You build him up as World Heavyweight Champion for him to lose to Jey Uso and tap out to Jey Uso with his own move. And then the follow up after that, he's facing a commentator, Pat McAfee, and he goes 50-50 with McAfee. Ew. That still leaves a bad taste in my mouth. And then he won the title back. But it was just so he can have his Goldberg match where he retires Goldberg and then they disrespect Goldberg afterwards. Then he loses to CM Punk and he's out for a few months. And then he came back and he's facing all the losers in the Last Time Is Now tournament because they're all fucking losers. Javon Evans never won a big matchup. Carmelo Hayes never won a big matchup on the main roster. Solo Sikoa loses all his big matches on the main roster. And LA Knight is the biggest loser of them all. So he beat a whole bunch of losers just to face Cena. And thus, the way he booked Gunther and Cena, that match is not as big or important as it could have been.
Okay, I have to go. Joel will be back in about 10 minutes. SP3,
No
you were
I'll hold things
kind
down.
of on your own until then. I apologize,
worries.
everybody. I think things are still okay, but I have to go.
I definitely understand, brother. So you were with me, guys, solo in the weeds. Now you're in my this is my daughter's stuff. My daughter is a big fan of Frozen and of the Mickey Mouse gang, so you get to see the full wall for a little bit. But yeah, like I think that the Gunther and Cena matchup, it is important. Don't get me wrong, it is a big matchup. It's John Cena's final matchup. Regardless of how WWE booked it, it's always going to be legitimately a big matchup. However, because of how WWE booked it, it wasn't as big as it possibly could have been. And that's an issue. That's a problem. Going back to Monday Night Raw, there was some other good stuff on Monday Night Raw last night. I really enjoyed the Usos and the New Day matchup. I don't know about y'all. Let me know in the chat. I thought the Usos and New Day was very well done. They gave them some time. I like the video package. That's the main thing. The video package before the matchup, I thought added a little bit more gusto to the matchup. Like, you're like, oh yeah, I remember these two guys, these two teams, they just know how to have a good matchup. They can have a good matchup in their sleep. And we got that with a totally different kind of dynamic, because most of the legendary New Day Usos matches is from 2017. The 2017 rivalry is what most people are going to remember that Usos and New Day rivalry for. The matches in that 2017 rivalry where the Usos were the heel. The New Day were the baby faces, and the Usos would be like basically be back in the heel position by the time they faced the New Day again. When they set the record, they broke the New Day's record for longest reigning tag team champions. They were heels once again. So a large majority of the major matches that we've seen between these two teams in the past 8 years has been Usos heels, New Day baby faces. So it was a cool dynamic kind of seeing that flipped over, seeing the Usos also trying to kind of get back their tag team chemistry against the New Day. And I thought the New Day worked the match very well. I like Grayson Waller getting involved, creating an obstacle for the Usos to overcome. Jimmy Uso, this is a hot take. Jimmy Uso has a better spear than Jay Uso. Let me know in the chat. I might make it a poll. I might ask Jeremy and them to give me the login for Fightful Overbook. Let me know who has the better spear, Jay or Jimmy. I thought Jimmy's spear was miles better than Jay's spear last night. When Jimmy hit the spear in the ring, I was like, that's an actual proper spear. Unlike the one that Jay gave to Xavier on the floor. That was a flying hug. That was an actual spear. He's actually played football. So that's cool. Yeah. Good matchup. They won with the 1D. It seems like Jimmy and Jay are going to get the next opportunity at AJ Styles and Dragon Lee. It seemed like Dragon Lee and AJ Styles were going to go to Adam Pearce to ask him for a title matchup. So we'll see what happens there. I thought that was a very good matchup. Probably the best in-ring matchup of the night last night. Gunther was the star of the show and the best segment of the night. Second best segment, though, CM Punk finally sounding angry. I think we all can agree. CM Punk angry and having something to sink his teeth into and being feels like legitimately upset at somebody. That's when we get the fiery CM Punk that made him this ultra popular babyface in 2011, 2012. And we haven't really got that too much in 2025. Like I said, I've embarrassed enough people or exposed enough people telling them that CM Punk and versus Seth Rollins should not be in anyone's top 5 best feuds of the year, let alone best storylines of the year. But it just feels like we never got that promo against Seth this year, specifically. Like, Rollins got his best friend to turn on Punk, but we never got this type of promo, like where he has the real good one-liners. Like, it will take any kind of Steiner math, and GTS always equals 1, 2, 3. That's a fire CM Punk line. That's a fire CM Punk line. And I like the fact that Punk kind of turned the vitriol that Bron showed towards AJ Lee, saying, I'm going to take your title and take your wife last week. And then he turned it back on Bron by directing that fire at his uncle and his dad, and basically saying that he comes from a family of idiots. That sounds like, damn. I was like, Punk, you kind of offended me right now. I was like, what did the Steiner brothers do to you? Why do you hate the Steiner brothers so much? I was like, the way he was just calling them idiots at every single turn of this promo. And I agree with Zeno Hour. Yeah, him calling Logan Paul a YouTube scammer was quite funny as well. It was quite funny. CM Punk brought that fire, that juice that we needed, please. Oh man, that was good. That was a good promo from CM Punk, and his promo did elevate Bron Breakker. However, they then spent the rest of the show diminishing anything that they did good with Bron Breakker over the last couple of weeks, because first you got the Vision segment backstage where Braun wants to beat down Punk. And you would think that, you know, if Heyman's like, no, that would be the worst thing to do. You injure him now, he won't be ready for January 5th. I would have just had Braun be like, Paul, he has 3 weeks to get ready. I know the exact amount of pain to inflict on CM Punk to make sure that he is weakened yet still ready for January 5th. No, they just had Braun be like, I still got a lot to learn. I'm Bron Breakker. Why do they always make Bron Breakker look like this fucking idiot? This nincompoop. This nincompoop that can't think for himself. Yet he was the one that basically put together the whole scheme to turn on Seth Rollins. Yet at every turn, since that turn, it's been 2 months now, they have just made it clear that Bron Breakker cannot think for himself. He cannot get the job done by himself. He either needs Paul Heyman to guide him along and hold his hand to big championship matches, or he needs the Vision or the Masked Man to get a win. And I find that unbelievable for this monster of a man, Bron Breakker. He always needs help. Like, Gunther is the biggest heel in the company right now. Gunther don't win no matches with anybody's help. So you're telling me, I understand there's going to be people that be like, well, Braun's a heel. He should need help to beat people and stuff like that. But that's not how they built up Gunther. They built up Gunther by him being the best wrestler, by him overpowering people, by him being so relentless in his pursuit of victory and choking people out and inflicting pain on people. He's become the new biggest heel in the company, and he's never needed anyone to help him get a victory. Why are they booking Bron Breakker, we get all these reports all the time. That's like, Bron Breakker is the future. Bron Breakker, he is a beast. He's going to be the next Roman Reigns. Yet you are not booking him like you booked Roman Reigns as a heel. Roman Reigns as a heel in the Shield. He was the difference maker in all the Shield wins. He hit the spear, put someone through a barricade. He didn't need really the Shield's help to do all the stuff that he was doing. He was a centerpiece. He became a star because he was this like mercenary. He was the X factor in a lot of those Shield matchups. I always go back to Survivor Series 2013. That goes a long way to establishing Roman Reigns as a top star because he had I think it was like a 3-on-1 disadvantage, and he wiped through the rest of the baby faces on the other team at Survivor Series 2013, probably the only good match at that pay-per-view. That established that Roman Reigns is a world beater that doesn't really need the Shield. He could beat people on his own. Same thing they did with Brock Lesnar back in 2002. How does this company have 50 fucking million examples on how to make a new star, yet they keep making the same mistakes with Bron Breakker? Anywho, so that led into the main event, which was Logan Paul and Rey Mysterio. I feel like I've seen this match way too many times, and I think I've seen it only twice. I've only seen this match twice, but I feel like I've seen it way too many times. Way too many times. Fine matchup between these two guys. It was more about the finish. You had the Braun Stars. They came out. Punk attacks them from behind with a steel chair. Then you get Rey, who fights off Logan Paul after Paul Heyman puts the brass knuckles on his fist for him to use. He gets him into position for the 619. He hits the 619. Paul drops the brass knuckles on the apron, and it looks like Rey is going to pick it up to use them. And, dude, the camera angle that they used, it was so obvious that the referee was trying not to look towards Rey Mysterio, why? First of all, why? Why are you not looking at both competitors in the matchup if you're an actual referee? This guy deserves to be fired. Whoever was the referee last night, I don't know if it was guy, girl, he deserves to be fired because it was so blatant, them just not paying attention to what was going on with Rey Mysterio over here on the side. So Rey picks up the brass knuckles off the apron. Then we get the Masked Man. He stomps him, gives him the curb stomp on the apron. Logan Paul is able to recover. He picks up the victory, the 1-2-3. He has a stare down with the Masked Man. And then CM Punk comes out. He chases off Logan Paul and Paul Heyman and the Masked Man. The Masked Man goes through the crowd, goes up the steps, and he reveals himself to be Justin Timberlake or Austin Theory. Either or. I hear rumors. I hear Danny Garcia as well. But yes, Austin Theory is revealed as the Masked Man. My question to you guys in the chat, do you think that it's going to be just Theory is the Masked Man, or we're going to have more Masked Man? Like, that is how we're introducing new members to the Vision, through Masked Man. Like, Theory's been revealed, and you think it's now over with the Masked Man, but then a new Masked Man pops out and is helping the Vision pick up victories. Theory can join the Vision, and then you can introduce someone like a Montez Ford as a new member of the Vision. You can introduce a female, an up-and-coming female star into the Vision as a masked woman. Like, I think this is going to be something that becomes a larger ongoing story. I think it can be, and it'll be a cool way to kind of introduce new members of the Vision, but seems like some people are like, nah, I don't like that. He's like, a delayed grad's like, nah, bro, it's just Theory. That's it. No Montez Ford. Yeah, you know, Triple H don't see color. You're actually right. Marky Dark says, nah, that's actually a good idea. They won't do that. You know what? You're right. They won't do it. They won't do it. You know they won't do it when Zeno Hour agrees with me that should be probably the way to introduce more members. When Zeno Hour and me agree on something, we know for sure WWE ain't doing it. No. Gray says, nah, WWE isn't that creative in 2025 going into 2026. I'm not even trying to give them credit, Jules. I'm just hoping. I'm hoping. Sometimes I will say my opinions on WWE. Sometimes I will come up with ideas for WWE, but 9 times out of 10, I know my opinion, my ideas, my thoughts, they don't give a damn about. They don't give a damn about any of our thoughts. They care about the moolah dinero. That's all they care about. They care if I'm going to put $1 in their hand. That's what they care about most. They don't care about my opinion on much. They don't care about my ideas. And 9 times out of 10, they're not going to use my good ideas. And if they do use my good ideas, they're not going to give me credit for it. This is Joel from a new location. Look at this guy.
Yeah, I had to. I was literally 3 feet out the door, and I got a text saying, hey, come back. And I said, I just left. So, okay. For full disclosure, I had to leave my office because we have someone who's coming to clean, and that person has 1 room left in our place to clean, and it was your boy's office. So I was like, gotta get out, gotta let them clean my office. And I'm like halfway out the door, and Jeremy's like, hey, gotta come back. And I was like, okay. So I'm now in the second location, which is the library. So it's the library in our building. So luckily no one's here. It's just me. But I'm here.
Sweet. Everybody else is at work right now. So
the worst. Who works? Meanwhile, I'm like building all these text messages from people too. Good Lord.
Yeah, I haven't even checked my phone. But I've been trying to hold down the fort with my I'm just saying all my thoughts about Monday Night Raw and their treatment of Bron Breakker, the reveal of Austin Theory. Punk's promo was great, but yeah.
He yelled at those people. He was gonna piss on them.
He said he was gonna piss on. He was dropping some big words too. He was like, "You need Neanderthal, Nepo baby." I was like, "Oh, this is how you know Punk found something in himself to be angry about. This is awesome."
Well, you want to get him angry, you talk about his wife.
This is true.
It works. I got a couple super chats while you were doing this. Labglass said for the SP3 solo show, thank you very much, Labglass.
Thank you.
And Louis sent one saying, rank other Brooks and Braun feud.
Definitely LeBron James versus Dylan Brooks is better than CM Punk versus Bron Breakker because they don't actively make LeBron James look like an idiot in between their interactions.
Okay, that works for me. I'm very off kilter right now because my brain went
I
from
understand.
show mode to doing this.
I understand. No, we were just talking about how that backstage segment made Braun look. Because all the backstage segments with the Vision just make Braun look like he is dumb, like he doesn't know. But he's not. He's the one that came up with the whole scheme to betray Seth Rollins. So how is that the big turn that's supposed to put him on another level, and then you present him as an idiot?
So maybe it's not that he's dumb, it's that he's a hothead and he's a meathead. And because of that, and this is actually the I don't want to call it the genius, but this is what's smart about the Punk promo, is he did the whole, I want you to come out on January 5th, but I know that you won't because, you know, you're this and that. That's going to make Braun turn to Paul and be like, got to do it by myself. I'm going to do it by myself. And that's good. And that could be what screws Braun over in the end and doesn't have him win the title. Personally, I do it differently, but whatever. The story is Braun is a hothead. He's young, he's stupid, he doesn't understand. So he will take any opportunity that's provided to him to unleash the fury, so to speak.
Yeah. I like that, but the way these segments backstage come off is, I still got a lot to learn. Because he said that. He said that once. So anytime he listens to Paul Heyman, you're just basically confirming that fact of, I still got a lot to learn. When he was the smart one who basically came up with the whole scheme to betray Seth Rollins. And when you think about this, he hasn't got any real big wins on his own. Like Punk said, Punk made a good point of saying, like, you always need your boys to beat me. You always need your boys to win anything. And that's not how you make a new star. Brock Lesnar was a heel when he came up, and he wiped through everybody by his damn self. Roman Reigns in the Shield. I talked about the Survivor Series 2013 when it was 3-on-1 disadvantage for Roman, and he wiped through 3 baby faces and established himself as a world beater that doesn't really need Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose. And they've just done it with Gunther. Gunther is the biggest heel in the company. He never needs anybody to beat anyone on the roster. So why are they not doing that with Braun?
Because Braun's all about wins and learns, like you said. He's so young in the business, therefore he doesn't know. That is the larger issue with WWE booking, is that the young talent, they have to learn to grow. Meanwhile, if you want to contrast compared to AEW booking, look at a guy like Kyle Fletcher. He learned very quickly. Did he lose? Yes, he lost, but then he saddled himself with Don Callis. And look at him now. He listened to Don Callis. He took his advice. He wasn't successful 100% of the time, but he found a rise much quicker than, say, on the other side, Bron Breakker, because he is taking that opportunity that is presented to him, and he's learning and he's growing at a pace that's actually worthwhile. Braun doesn't get that. Braun just gets to be a hothead who doesn't listen to the people he's saddled up with. In this case, Paul Heyman, who is someone that he should be listening to in canon because Paul has managed superstars. He's managed the biggest stars. He has been the guy who has actually been to the top. Don Callis didn't even have that. I mean, he had Kenny, actually. That's a lie.
Yeah,
he had Kenny.
Yeah, Kenny, yeah, Will.
Yeah, Kenny. Yeah, okay, is this fair? You know, he did. That's fair. Yeah, Kenny. My brain doesn't go back 5 years until I have to think about 5 years ago, okay? But the point is, so even more to my point, that you get a guy like Kyle Fletcher who has a guy who managed superstars, who managed former world champions, and he listens to him. He listens to the manager. He doesn't always do it, but he does it most of the time, and he sees success. Braun doesn't get to do that because Braun has to be the hothead who thinks he's better than everyone, because that's how you are as a child growing up as a teenager. You think you're better than mom and dad. You know better than mom and dad. You don't take advice from mom and dad. But at the end, you're like, oh man, maybe mom and dad were right. But it's okay to be a more mature person listening to the elders, because sometimes you had a teacher in high school that you listened to because you liked them and they were smart and they guided you a certain way and you found success through them. It's not about revolting against mom and dad or rebelling against mom and dad. It's about finding those people that pump you up and give you the resources to do better. But for whatever reason, young talent in WWE are frequently given these people and they do not listen to these people. And I don't get whose weird mind. I mean, I know whose weird mind has a problem with mom and dad, but I don't know why they can't tell that story in WWE, where every other company has no problem being like, yeah, mentors exist. Now my wife is calling me. Excuse me.
Like, where did you go? But yeah, you're absolutely right. Like they do that in pretty much every company has like these young stars that they are doing a much better job of presenting as a character who has agency. That's the big thing. That's the big thing, and maybe it's something that not everybody will understand, but a character who has agency is a character that makes most of the decisions about their character. They like I gave credit to Christian Cage. Christian Cage got heat for delaying the FTR Edge and Copeland and Christian matchup for months. But in doing so, he was able to create a moment where he gave two characters that for a whole 2 years basically had no agency as characters, Nick Wayne and Kip Sabian. He gave them agency because they turned on Christian. Christian didn't turn on them. They made a decision for themselves. I don't understand. The worst thing you can do, though, is to give a person agency and then take it back. That's what they did with Bron Breakker. They gave him agency where he made the decision for the entire vision to turn on its leader and then took the agency back. That doesn't make too much sense to me.
And then he has to have sidebars.
I need to talk to him for him. I need to talk to him.
As if the other people in the locker room can't hear him. They're right there. That's what always gets me. It's the most 90s sitcom like sidebar. It's like Zach Morris pause.
Yes, it is. Zach Morris pause. So guys, you're breaking the fourth wall. Like
so hold on. So chat's like, if you can read lips, Joel just doxed himself, and Louis being like, I get kicked out of the library. First of all, it's not gonna happen. This is the library that's in my building, and I didn't dox myself because all I did was say the library in number, and that's it. So I didn't dox myself. Nice try. My AirPods, however, did not switch over the call from the audio, so I listened to you while trying to make out what my wife was saying. She's like, which library are you at? And I was like, the one in our building.
Oh man, that's awesome. You guys are awesome for just trying to read his lips.
Nice try. I'm a little bit smarter than that. I love King Pate being like, I'm a professional lip reader, and Joel just got told he's been banned from AEW post-show conferences. I got thanked after the last one I attended for being there. So screw you. Just because I don't always like the creative doesn't mean I don't like the people.
You know, people are really
that's a whole other.
Really cool. They're really cool. They're really cool. I like them. Even they had me banned for the longest, but I'm not banned anymore. So
you explained to them, no, that was all Jimmy, not me.
Yeah, exactly. It was the other black guy. See, he's got more of a beard.
The one that wears the hat, he's the problem.
The Yankee hat. That's how you know.
Don Callis be like, I want to get interviewed by that guy. Like, yes, you do. Yes, you do.
Jimmy loves Don Callis. Of course he does.
Of course he does. That's my favorite part. Jimmy's just here to hate everyone you love.
Exactly. He hates everyone you love, and then he loves everyone you hate.
Oh, I'm all about it. Did you talk about Nikki Bella at all?
No, I was saving that for one of y'all to talk to me.
Oh, what an amazing moment that was.
I got it when I talked about how, Maxine and Ivy got no reaction. And then the Stephanie Vicaire entrant, I was like, no, sweetie, no, amiga, no, you ain't getting no reaction. Like, what? You're the WWE Women's World Champion. And then the match, they got no reaction again. Mainly because they just saw this match last month. Like, why do they do this all the time? I said this with the Tiffany Stratton reign. Why do they always make these people face the same people over and over and over and over again that it loses any type of meaning to their audience?
That's heat. Okay, so I don't know how it's gonna. I mean, I know how it's gonna sound on SmackDown in a week because they're gonna pipe in the audio. But they were there for a long ass time before Raw started. They watched an entire SmackDown from a whole other week before they got to Raw, which is whatever. Feel how you will about that. I think maybe part of it was just they were tired, and also the match just was heatless. There was nothing.
Yeah.
Again, this is the problem with Stephanie, as you mentioned. Like, it's just running back the same people, boring people who don't really deserve a title shot. Raquel is the service of her part of the story is whatever they're going to do with her in Judgment Day. She's got new gear. If you didn't notice, don't think that didn't cross my mind. It's like, oh, they're going to jump her out and she won't be, she'll be a baby face wearing that gear. She's not going to be a heel. When she's a heel, she's wearing that black leotard type of thing. Like, she's fully clad head to toe in black. This was baby face attire coming back. Anyway, the match was what it was. I felt I feel bad. I just noticed before Nikki comes out to toss Stephanie and Raquel out and away from the match, whatever, just interrupt it. There's a cameraman who knocked over the podium that holds the title.
Yes, I saw that too. That was awesome.
And he's like, oh shit. He's like trying to move it and trying to drag it around, and he kind of like got in the way of it. And oh man, Nikki Bella is just a giant loser, can't win a match, can't give her a win for whatever reason. Is like, I'm a legend, so I deserve a title shot. And it's like, well, no, you don't. In 2025, you can't win a match to save your life. Why are we trying? Why are you trying? Just saying I'm a legend doesn't get you a pass to the front of the line, and it shouldn't. Nowhere should it do that. And for her to be like, you should be lacing my boots, it's like, you were part of the Divas era that people didn't really pay attention to for wrestling. Like, it's not a shot at Nikki's abilities. She can do better. She can have better matches. I thought the match that was at Survivor Series, from a move to move standpoint, like, it was fine. It was good. I know it was fine, right? But it was good enough that, like, it told a serviceable story as Nikki as a heel because she performs better as a heel. She has that locked in her brain. You can do that. But the problem is, if you don't give us a story and you don't give us a reason for her to get the title shot, then you're going to get the reactions like you did at Survivor Series, and like you did last night for Raquel and Stephanie Becker. And now, but
I don't understand why you're keeping everything in a holding pattern, because Gray Streams in the chat is absolutely right. They're saving. It's either going to be Becky versus Stephanie, or it's going to be Rhea versus Stephanie at Mania. And instead of giving her somebody like a Lyra Valkyria who can have a great match with her, a Bailey who has a great match with everybody, Natty, like there's multiple people that you could put on here. Why are they objectively putting the bottom of the totem pole against people like Stephanie Becker? I'm sorry, Raquel Rodriguez. I can name 10 people on Raw in the women's division that I'd rather see than her. So this is you kind of picking from the bottom of the barrel, and like Liv and Stephanie, it could be that as well, because that felt like the obvious thing to do when Liv came back, is have her just go after the title again. Like, it's fine if she loses that, or you could save it for a big show, but at least start the build in some way. You kind of did with the backstage segment, but now the story is more focused on Liv's reaction to Raquel being involved in the title picture.
Pretty sure it's Becky and AJ at Mania, by the way.
Yeah, I know. I just put Becky out there because of the report, but definitely it's Becky and AJ. I've been saying that since September.
Yeah. Hey, you're back.
Why is this show still going?
Well, for under 2 hours. I moved to another location. Exactly. We've been a calamity of errors today. It's fantastic.
I had to do 15 minutes on my own.
Thank you, by the way.
I appreciate it, SP3. It is it's been a morning. Is that your mic clipping? I feel like it's always your mic when you're in the UK. SP3.
It's always his. Yes. Yeah. He's getting a phone call. It's the radio waves coming through. Whoever got you that mic didn't get you a mic that was new. They got you a 2004 microphone.
What? That's what you hear?
Yeah. Whatever. That's whenever you're getting a text message or anything, any notification.
Yeah, that's what we hear.
It rules. Oh man, are you okay, Jeremy? Are you back?
No, not okay at all. Man. This is in such a stupid morning, absolutely stupid morning.
I was 1 foot out the door when you texted me.
I'm sorry. Like,
It's okay. It wasn't like I was going to run an errand. I was going to like do something, but it wasn't like time sensitive. But I was like, oh, okay. I guess I'm going back. I had to run back upstairs, get my bag, come down to the library. Here we are.
I got a text on the show, and my wife was like, "Hey, this happened, and I'm doing this," and I'm like, "Okay, no problem. Like, I'll run out and take care of things." Again, things are fine. It's fucking stupid in our country, and that we're even in this position, and this is a whole thing. Like,
Shout out Mick Foley.
like what are we doing? What are we doing? I don't know. I don't know where you guys are at on Raw. I don't have much to say.
There isn't much that we can add, right?
It was a show.
I think we've touched on everything pretty much.
Probably
from the show.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's like 5 minutes left on the show, technically.
See everybody tomorrow. Did we do a Aura Frames read, Joel?
Oh God, neither of you did it.
No. I wasn't here long enough. And
I don't have the read.
yeah.
Well, then consider this your official invitation to join us here at auraframes.com/Fightful and get $35 off to support Aura Frames and my misery of having the worst day imaginable. And I mean, Jeremy too, but it's a good day if you go over to Aura Frames. You go ahead and get that carver mat. It is a beautiful, beautiful thing. If you head over to auraframes.com and use the promo code FIGHTFUL, #1 in wire cutter for that carver mat. I know what you're thinking. You don't know what to get your friends and your families, or maybe that person you don't like for the holidays. Maybe you're stuck in Secret Santa hell, but you got enough of it that you just want to get something and get them out of there. Go to auraframes.com. Use the promo code FIGHTFUL. Maybe you're just walking down the street and you see that guy and you're just like, hey man, what are you going to get your friends for Christmas or for the holidays, whatever it is? And he's just like, I don't know, man. What are you going to do? And you tell him about Aura Frames. You tell him, use the promo code FIGHTFUL, get $35 off, use the Aura app and upload any of them photos and videos that you want up to that beautiful frame. Support your friends and support your families. Big them up. Tell them all the beautiful things that they've been doing through the year. What you doing? You're going to auraframes.com, using the promo code FIGHTFUL, getting the gift box, getting a personal message on it. It'll make you the hero of the holidays. And that's what I want, is for you to be the hero and to finish your story going into the holiday season. So head on over to auraframes.com, use the promo code FIGHTFUL, get the $35 off, and enjoy it. We had a reader earlier. We had Jules, who was a reader. Who am I? I'm old. We had someone in our chat who watches, Jules, who ordered an Aura Frame and said it came to her in less than 24 hours. That's pretty dang good shipping if you're on a time crunch like we've been today. So go on over to auraframes.com, use the promo code FIGHTFUL, get $35 off. Tell them we sent you, and we appreciate you greatly. Auraframes.com, auraframes.com. Use promo code FIGHTFUL. Did I say it enough times? Because I'll say it again. Auraframes.com, promo code FIGHTFUL, $35 off. Terms and conditions apply.
Good job, Joel. Thank you.
My
Yeah,
pleasure.
I was gonna do it, and I didn't feel good transitioning from the Mick Foley Trump stuff to Aura Frames. So, and then we were getting into the conversation about Gunther, and I didn't have time to transition out of that because I had to leave in the middle of that. So there was no time period for me to actually do the ad read on the time that I was on the show. So
Amazing.
thank you.
Should we do an NXT preview and then get out of here then?
Why are we?
Well,
previewing
because
NXT?
this could be it. Tomorrow could be a very big show for us, Jeremy.
It's not, because
The
they're not going to do
NXT
it. They're going to cowardly not do it.
The Women's North American Championship is on the line. Blake Monroe defends officially against Thea Hale. Halians rise up. It's time, baby. It's time. Put your whatever finger this is, your ring finger in the air. I don't know. Yes, your ring finger. My kid's now asking me, which finger is this? And he will pull up a finger and I'll be like, not that one. But anyway, that's the North American title. Hank Walker, Tank Ledger, Hank and Tank are facing OTM. That should be a meaty match. I'm sure that'll be whoever wins
I
gets
feel like
a
that match
title
has
shot.
happened
Hank and Tank.
500 times.
They're getting their lick back for when
Yeah.
OTM sent them off to Japan to win the
Oh.
the GHC tag titles. Kendall Gray and Ren Sinclair take on Fatal Influence. That's Fallon Henley and Lainey Reed. So I'm sure one of those. will get the
Kendall
pin.
Gray, the GOAT. She's gonna win. She's gonna win. Setting up the title win in a few weeks' time.
Ren Sinclair is going to pin Laney Reed, and they're going to set up a speed title match between those two. Like, you know that this is how it goes. And there's a fatal 4-way. The winner gets a shot at New Year's Evil. All the losers from the Iron Survivor facing off: Leon Slater, Joe Hendry, Dion Lennox, Miles Bourne. So Miles Bourne is going to get his deal. He's going to get his title shot. Good time.
Dion Lennox, because the Dark State stocks are up. That's why it's going to be Dion Lennox winning this thing.
I'm seriously curious. Hold on. I'm seriously curious. So Nick in our chat, Nick the Neen, say, please get a new mic, please. Who are you talking to? Because I am curious. If it's mine, this is my travel mic. If it's Jeremy, you can't fix that. If it's SP3, we've already established this. Let me know.
Mine's like low or something.
Yeah, yours is fine in my ears. They're fine. Okay. It's just because you pop your P's, but then it all gets fixed in post. Stop it.
What's the the Friends episode where the guy who enunciates and he spits all over Joey? You guys seen that one? Yeah,
I'm not a Friends guy, but I'm familiar with what you're talking about.
Right. Yeah.
I watched Living Single.
90s black man over here. I love it.
Yeah. The chat's mic. Who's the chat's mic?
Well then, must be the chat's mic. I knew it. You guys suck.
Yeah. The chat's always needs a new mic. Yeah,
it's true.
And Nick, let us know who needs a new mic. I'll write mine off. I've had this one for a while too. I've had this mic for a very long time.
I got this one a while ago. It's still good. It's fine. Stop it.
Yeah, yours is fine, but I
only use this one for this show. I have a different one for True Hill Heat.
Damn,
this is a professional one for True Hill Heat.
Seriously, I've got my Podmaster when I'm upstairs. So I'm in a remote location, so you get travel Joel right now.
What was your moment of Monday, SP3?
The Ring General Gunther and all the heat that he got after retiring John Cena and making him tap out like a little bee, as Joe Tessitore says.
Joel?
Mother was out and serving in true fashion. She came out and said, I'm a legend. You need to respect me. And if I ever win another match, then you will respect me again. Mother, slay, yes, queen.
My moment of Monday was Austin Theory. I'm so excited that he was the masked man, and I cannot wait to see how this story plays out and how they're going to elevate Austin Theory, who I've always believed in. Ask anybody. They are going to elevate him into that main event position as he finally rises up and seizes the opportunity that they have been trying to give him for about 5 years now. This is the time for Austin Theory. John Cena's time is up. Austin Theory's time is now.
I mean, Austin Theory didn't get to retire John Cena. So
he beat him at WrestleMania, Joel.
It's true.
He beat him at WrestleMania. He's the last man to defeat John Cena at WrestleMania. I don't even know if that's true. That's what I'm going with.
It is true.
Okay, there you go.
It is factual. It is factual. He did not wrestle at WrestleMania 40.
Everyone's going to try and pull these pieces, like Dominic Mysterio being like, I'm the last man to beat John Cena. Austin Theory is going to be like, well, I'm the last man to beat him at WrestleMania. Baron Corbin's going to come out of the woodwork and be like, I beat him at the Royal Rumble that one time. Remember, guys?
Austin Theory stocks are all the way up, and I've been investing in Austin Theory stocks since the Evolve days. No one has proof otherwise.
Anyway, don't look at old episodes of this show.
Results of our poll question. Austin Theory, question mark. 16% said I'm out. 14% said Theory stocks up. 19% said give it a chance. And 52% said...
Exactly, no pop.
Oh, 53% now said.
Exactly, no pop.
Glad we got the accuracy on that.
What did we accomplish today, Joel?
If your house is on fire, one of us will come back to pull ourselves from the burning rubble. Nobody's house was on fire today. And if you need to take a victory lap, there's a man who looks like Gru who will do it for you, and he will relish in your pain.
SP3, what did we accomplish today?
We accomplished a lot. We have a revolving door of host coming in, coming out, me here the entire time. And we talked about Monday Night Raw with the ring general Gunther getting booed out the building and basically just having the best time ever doing it, and him defeating John Cena and what that meant for him, as well as Triple H's reaction from the fans, why Triple H ruined John Cena's retirement tour, why Brock Lesnar squashing John Cena might be the biggest mistake Triple H ever did as a booker. So a lot of Triple H and Gunther talk on today's show, and Monday Night Raw and that horrible matchup with Maxine and Ivy. No reaction for Stephanie Vicaire, and why are they booking Bron Breakker like this? That's what we accomplished today.
I think the biggest thing we accomplished today is thank you, Mick Foley. I don't know if you guys read this super chat from Follow Up.
We
I'm
did
gonna
not.
do that
Okay.
Right now.
All right.
Oh, there we go. So now that Jeremy and SP3 are here, I mentioned it yesterday. I finally watched all of Cobra Kai, from Ace Degenerate to X Degenerate. Fantastic. Gentlemen, have at it.
SP3 and I reviewed the majority of Cobra Kai on this show or FMC, one of these shows that we've done. So yeah, we've gone through Cobra Kai. I know we're both big fans of it. It is the most pro wrestling show in the world to me. So yeah, if you haven't seen Cobra Kai yet, good on you for watching it, Volub. And yeah, I recommend it to everybody to watch it.
Yeah, I love Cobra Kai. Cobra Kai is one of my favorite shows ever to take place on Netflix. And I actually, on the flight yesterday, I watched Karate Kid Legends. Oh, that movie rocked. That movie rocked. And the post-credit scene popped me so much because the post-credit scene gave us some Cobra Kai lore. So that was awesome.
Nick made it back into our chat, and he said it was just SP3's mic. That's the problem.
Okay. All right.
He said my mimic is perfect.
Oh,
so
thanks, Nick. Thanks, Nick. It wasn't like my two other co-hosts were saying the same thing. Thanks so much. I appreciate you. Thank you.
Don't start running off people in our chat. That's my job.
We've already
Running people off. I said thank you. I said thank you.
We've done this. Your tone suggested something different.
Yes.
My
What is it with this show and tone issues? It seems to be a thing these days. Let's stop this. It's the holidays. Can't we all just get along?
I said thank you.
Well, maybe if you had said thank you more often and worn a suit, we wouldn't be in this predicament. Jeremy, anything to plug?
No, thank you, Joel. Thank you, Joel. Thank you.
I even dressed up for the occasion.
That was very sincere, like me. I appreciate that.
Thank you, Joel, for stepping in when I've been dealing with stuff this morning. It's been a morning. Thank you to SP3 as always for just being here and holding it down for solo for a little while as well. Appreciate everybody in the chat. Again, things are good. Things will hopefully continue to be good. We shouldn't have to deal with this, folks. We really just should not have to deal with any of this. And it is a shame that we have to deal. Anybody, not just me, not just my kids, not just my town, my lovely wife, but anybody who has to go through this. It's very unfortunate. But things are fortunately good. Hopefully they remain good. And again, thank you to SP3 for being here the full show, holding it down solo. Thank you to Joel for stepping in short notice and then returning on even shorter notice because I had to leave. And appreciate everybody's patience with us. I'll be here tomorrow, hopefully. Joel will be here tomorrow. Kate and SP3 are doing the show on Thursday. Joel is. I can't even make fun of you for running from the grind because you showed up today. So I'd feel bad of saying you're running from the grind.
I also don't do Thursdays. I was going to, and I have a dentist appointment. Screw you.
Yeah, you said you're going to do it. So I'll just. You're a liar, is what it is. You're not running from the grind. You've lied to the people.
The lying was easier because I realized that they were doing a 3-hour episode of Dynamite and Collision. So I was like, we're good.
You get to watch it at
really
like
good
1,
match.
though. You get to watch it at 1.
That's true. I probably
yeah.
will be watching it at 1 o'clock.
Yeah, same. Hopefully. So it'll be Kate and SP3 on Thursday. I will show up at some point. I don't know when, but I'll be here to keep my streak alive of making every show in 2025. That's all I have. I don't know. Somebody else can say something.
SP3, you want to plug your stuff?
Follow me on the Twitter machine at TrueHillSP3. I'll be live in about 45-50 minutes with Top Guy JJ for Rated Raw review over on the True Hill Heat Wrestling YouTube channel. So join us for that. Check out all the great content we got over there. Our Saturday night's main event review. We did an NJPW World Tag League 2025 final review. Maybe me and Jeremy will talk about, me and Kate will talk about that on Thursday here on the show. But yes, go and check that out and join us live over on True Hill Heat. And thank you as always, guys. You guys in the chat, everyone but Zeno Hauer. You guys are great. And the other guy who just randomly showed up to say the same thing Joel and Jeremy said. Love you all.
His name was Nick. He seemed very lovely.
Nick.
Yeah, be nice to Nick. Not Doug, though. Doug's a dick.
People with 4-letter names are just getting buried. If you ever come in here, your name is Yeet. We don't like you, apparently.
Anyway, it doesn't matter. Listen, we're back tomorrow. Jeremy told you what the schedule looks like. We'll talk about God knows what. Maybe we'll all be in the places we're supposed to be. We'll find out soon enough. But for Jeremy Lambert, for SP3, you know who I am. You know who they are because I just told you who they are. Leave a thumbs up on the way out. Tell your friends about the show. I don't know what clips we're going to have today because this show was so disjointed. But in other words, ladies, gentlemen, friends beyond the binary, we'll see you in the next one. Cheers.